first of all, let me talk about this residual energy because it's something very similar to last month. What we have here, this is some type of a news communication coming through. And it shows up here as the page of wands in the reverse position. The way I'm reading this, it could be a person or an energy, but I feel like there is very, very clear communication that that needs to be had with this person. And let me just say, if this is a physical person, like a fire sign, a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo, this is somebody who is kind of like, lacking in a sense of direction. They're just like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I major in this field of study? Should I do that? And overall, they're not really sure what they are trying to do. And I feel like they might get themselves in situations where their indecisiveness can kind of snowball out of control. For some of you, I feel a relationship partner. For others of you, I feel like this might be children that are around you or your own children that you're dealing with. There is going to be heavy communication between you and this person. And this is somebody that you really love and you care about. Okay. And I feel like, that you really, really, really care about, like for some reason, I feel like this is a really good person, very honest, very faithful, very, in the past, they seem to me to be very clear about their intentions, their objectives, but I feel like they're lacking in, a sense of direction. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? So they're a little bit wrapped up in their own issues at this present moment, and you're very concerned for them. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of text messages, long distance communication between you and this person to work out the logistics, and I feel that they're coming to you for a lot of guidance, mentorship, and advice. And I'm getting a very strong teacher vibe based on these two cards where they're lacking direction. They're making decisions that are not, feasible for them long term and for their greater good. And they need to be steered in the right direction. So I feel like they're coming to you and they're just like, I don't know what to do. I got myself in this sticky situation. How do I get out of it? And so you're going to kind of like, I see you kind of like, I see them on like a monitor set, one of those ear pieces, and they're talking. They're like, what do I do? And you're giving them step by step instructions as to what to do. I'm seeing some people that might be working in a mental health capacity as well, where you might have a client and they're just like, how do I get myself out of this situation? And you're walking them through it. You're telling them step by step, here's what you do first, here's what you do second, here's how you get yourself out. So that's going to be coming through, and I feel the energy is heavy towards the first half of the month. So from, the 1st of August until the 15th. And for others, this might be, somebody that you're taking under your wings. You're trying to teach them the necessary skills so that they can be independent. And I feel at this point, they really like you. They're just really like smitten by you because of that, certainty that you bring to the table. So they're gonna, they might not, they might have all the information that they need to make decisions on their own, but I feel like they're relying on you as a little bit of a crutch or as a safety security blanket. So there's going to be communication between you and them. And it's really important for you to draw very clear boundaries. Okay. If they're calling you for very mundane things that they should be doing on their own, it's a breach of boundaries. But I feel like they really like you. They don't mean any harm. It's just they like to be around you. So you might be even romantically be pestered by this person where they want to hang out all the time. If you have started recently, very recently, dating them, they want to they want to find every excuse to just communicate with you. So that's coming in. I feel like you're going to feel very flattered though. So this is not somebody that you're going to get mad at, but I would just advise you early on in that interaction to draw those clear boundaries. Okay. So you've got some suitors coming through here. The next thing that we have coming through deals with your work environment. So this is a really, really good card. It's public success. getting very positive reception, getting positive feedback, getting positive accolades, okay? So I do feel that success is highly indicated this month for those of you who are dealing with the public, and for those of you who, for whatever reason, you might be, they're saying like getting a wide following. So I feel like you're going to be very successful to push a specific agenda along. You might have been met with resistance in the past, but I feel like this is the month where things get pushed along the way that you want. If you are, for example, looking for funding, looking for projects, looking for new work, you're going to have financiers, investors, or, promoters coming through to push these projects along and to persuade people to, get on your side. So I do feel a major, big push, projects, and I feel like contracts or anything that has been blocked in the past, I do feel there is an easing up and there's this big push for things to move further along, okay? So it looks very, very good for many of you on the work front, and even if you have been, trying to get into, get acceptance into schools for further education and things like that. I do feel many of you are going to be, faced with, multiple options. So not only will you get, your the choices that you want, but I feel like you have several to choose from when it comes to education. This is a page, and this usually deals with a student energy. So you might have several jobs to choose from, several schools that you're getting admitted to choose from, or even several projects that you can pick and choose which one to devote the next phase of your energy and the next phase of your work cycle to. So new projects are coming through, and I do feel that this is indicative of a major career move and a major stepping stone, okay? The next two things that I want to mention here is, I feel like for many of you, there has been a relationship recently, okay? So it could be like June, July, that you have separated from. So a major significant relationship that you have separated from. And what I feel is this is a card overall about a burdensome relationship, a relationship that feels very heavy, a relationship where it feels like only one person was pushing the relationship along, and it's like the burden of the relationship falling on one person's shoulders. And over time, it felt very difficult. It felt very unfair. When it shows up in the reverse, it's basically, dropping the baggage, dropping the burden, and trying to move on. So I feel like many of you might have broken up, okay? This is dropping the burden, and as well, dealing with some sadness, some regrets about how things transpired. And I feel like for many of you, this is a relationship. There is great chemistry, and I feel many of you were with a person that was really good for you, like a person that they have a good heart, they have the best intentions in the world, and at one point there was great chemistry. There's really strong attraction, very strong chemistry, and just a really strong, very strong, like I want to say like a visceral, a full body, like desire for another person. For whatever reason, this person might be dealing with their own issues and they're not ready to commit. And I feel like there might be news, communication, and things like that still filtering in with this person. But I feel like this is the month in which you're going to try to move away from this relationship and pursue other opportunities, okay? Or at least you might feel like, okay, we can't really communicate back and forth like this anymore because it's keeping us stuck in this cycle where we don't want to lose the other person, but we're clearly not made for each other. And so I feel like for many of you, if this is a relationship that has recently ended, you might be communicating the beginning of the month, but towards the end of the month, you might not welcome that communication anymore because you want the other person to move on. You want black or white. You want clarity. Like, are we done or are we still together? So I feel like you're gonna make a final decision here towards the end of this month. And For example, if you're living with them, they might move out. Okay. And then for others, I just feel like you've ended a relationship. You have somebody new that you really, really like. And I feel like there is really strong chemistry. And for those of you who are dating new people, you have people that are clearly really interested in you. Okay. This is a person that this is the card that I consider like someone who's single and has multiple options, multiple choices, multiple things that, multiple directions that they can move forward with, and especially in love and relationships. But I feel like you're not entirely ready just yet. You like the attraction and the fun and the excitement, but you want a relationship that is kind of like a whole experience, you know? You want somebody that not only the attraction, but that has, that can make you feel good emotionally, that can be very sensitive and nurturing to your own emotional needs. So you're still, single, trying to get over that past relationship and trying to move on. I do feel as well for some of you who are dealing with this, it feels to me like you have to be very clear. And I'm going to go into your relationship reading in just a little bit, but I want to be, I feel like they're saying here, be very clear, be very, very clear about what your expectations are in the relationship. So I feel like some of you have new attractions. You're not ready to date just yet. You just want to have fun. You just want to have, more of a physical relationship, or you just want to have flings and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like you're really holding yourself back, and because you feel like, oh, I don't think that this person has everything that it takes. So you're still not over a relationship, and you're still trying to move forward. Like appreciating the fact that new people are coming in, but I don't feel that you're going to take the plunge, okay, and enter into a new relationship. I have done 3 signs now, and it's really interesting because all across the board, I feel like the month of August overall, a lot of relationships are being re-examine, and especially a lot of people are entering new relationships. And just keep in mind, we're dealing with a very heavy Mercury in retrograde cycle, and it's going to run from the second week of the month of August until the middle of September. And the energies can be felt 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the 3-week retrograde cycle. So getting back with exes is not something that I highly recommend for this month. I feel like Mercury retrograde cycles are best when we can take the time to do some inner work and to do some inner reflection, to redo something, to re-examine something, and to, figure out what went wrong and how we can fix these things. So I feel like it should be an internally motivated month, but for a lot of people, they project that energy outwards. They want to reconnect to other people from their past. They want to fix things. And so I would just urge you to, do this. Enjoy the opportunities that are coming in, but I don't feel like it's a good idea or a good time to budge, okay? Mainly because in this cycle, we're not going to be thinking and operating at our best. The way we assess situation is going to be a little bit fuzzy. It's going to be a little bit idealistic. And once the Mercury retrograde cycle ends, that's when the fog starts to lift. So I do feel it's really important for you to, just like draw back your energy and do the work internally. And in addition, this is not a good month to make investment opportunities. So if somebody's coming to you and they're like, hey, I have this business proposal. Okay, if they're coming to you and they're like, I have this business proposal. Do you want to get on board? And you have money, disposable income, and you're just like, maybe I should invest. I would urge you against that. Okay, this is not a good month for new financial ventures. Mainly because I feel like the details have not been worked out clearly just yet. So it would be wise to just, don't do anything new for this month. Or if you must do it, read the fine print, ask a lot of follow-up questions, and honestly, trust your intuition when it comes to like things not sounding completely legitimate or things sounding a little bit off, you want to put a hold on that, okay? Your ability to be very sharp and discerning and, asking the right questions, your intuition kicking in, I feel like these things are kind of working against you this month, which means that your senses might be a little bit dull. You might see what you want to see rather than the reality of a situation. So I feel like your intuition, it's naturally very, very sharp, but I feel like you might ignore your intuition in favor of the ideal, in favor of, somebody spinning you a really good story and you might fall for it. You're not naturally like the Scorpio. You are incredibly, incredibly like, I feel like very sharp, very clear and, objective. But I feel for this month, you might be taken in by a story, by a person, and you might jump the gun on certain things, and you need to be careful about that, okay? I feel overall it is a big month for a lot of events happening, a lot of things, a lot of errands to run, and just, a lot of social activities as well. Try to curb your spending a little bit, okay? It's not a good month for investment. It's not a good month for, overspending and seeing money just drifting like away from you. And you feel like, oh, I have enough in my coffers to, cover a rainy day. I feel like it's just a good month overall to keep a tight rein on your spending.